Can we bring home Maki already? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Fire Force Season 2, Episodes 20 and maybe on. And I say maybe because I'm not sure right now. We're playing this by ear today. Basically, we're just going to see what I end up doing. And that's kind of how this is going to go even when it's on a schedule. Even though I'm going to be on a schedule where I do I'm going to do like Fire Force as an example every week, that doesn't mean it's just going to be one episode a week. It's still going to be like kind of, if I'm feeling up for doing more than one episode, I can still do more than one episode. um, but we've done this before, obviously, where we just take it as we go. I have up to 23, no 22. I have up to 22 downloaded right now, so we could do anything up to there. Basically up to 3 episodes. But I think we're just gonna take it as it goes at the moment. Um, and just see from there. I don't know how much we're gonna end up doing, but still. Now, Maki has she's gone back to work for her father and everything, and is not at the moment part of the fire force. And like I had this like, not really complaints against the series, but big issues I guess I was having last time, where I was getting really upset about this. And I think part of the reason is because of the entire aspect of basically her father forcing and coercing her and, her friends to make this change for her. It basically felt like it was taking away all of her autonomy as a person. Um, because this was not her decision to make. Or it should have been, but it wasn't. It was her father's decision, and he forced it on Obi and the Lieutenant Hinawa. Um, and he basically coerced them into forcing it on Maki. And mind you, they didn't technically force it on her. Like, she probably could have denied it, but they very heavily pushed her into doing it. And I think that's part of the reason it upset me so much, because I really hate when people do that kind of thing in real life and in media. When a parent tries to take control of their child's life for not their child's sake, but their own. Because, like, Maki's father here, he can say till he's blue in the face that he's doing this for Maki's safety and everything. But he's not. He's doing this for his own peace of mind. He's doing this so he can feel better. It's not about what's good for Maki or not. And that's the case with anyone who acts this way. They use the excuse, oh, I'm doing it for their safety. I don't want anything to happen to them. Yeah, but only because it would put you out of peace in order for, if that were to happen. You're so worried about your peace of mind, so worried about having, a good, I guess, mental state in this case. Which, by the way, always look after your mental state. But still, he's taking away his daughter's autonomy for the sake of his own comfort, and that's not okay. That's never okay. That kind of thing pisses me off. And so that's why I got upset about it, and upset that Maki was just taken out of this. And I want to make it clear. I understand that it's like 99% sure that she'll go back. I get that. Like with my complaints and everything, like saying, oh, she better be back with the Fire Force by the end of the arc, or I'm going to be really upset and everything. It's like, I understand she more than likely will be. This is an arc for her character to grow and be developed in. It's like, I understand the point of that. Again, my emotional state last time was, I wouldn't say necessarily overblown because there was a good reason for it, but it was definitely, I was definitely not really like putting forth the thought about it. You know what I mean? Um, I was speaking out of emotion and not really like explaining the things that I did understand, that like again, Maki's gonna come back and everything. I get that. I was just emotional. Um Someone mentioned in the comments to me, it's like, oh, you really think they're going to take Maki out of the Fire Force for good? It's like, no, I don't. It's like, I don't think that at all. Again, I was just very emotional. I was speaking on emotion last time. So I understand Maki's going to be coming back. It's just, again, it's just a matter of the fact that this kind of plot and this kind of like thing going on is upsetting to me. And I'm very much against it. Especially with a character like Maki. And especially with the fact that they're like like with this, her father's like kind of treating her as if she's weak, as if she's fragile and needs to be protected like this. It's like Maki is like probably one of the strongest members of Company 8. Not just in terms of physical ability, but in terms of, mental fortitude, in terms of character and, morality and everything. She is so actively strong. She is not fragile. And the fact that the father like used Maki's brother's injury and everything to fuel this, it's like conflating those two situations and everything, conflating what happened with him and all. It's like that's not necessarily going to happen to Maki. Could she get injured? Yes, but that doesn't mean she's weak or fragile. That just means she's doing a dangerous job that, yeah, I mean, you can be worried about her, but trying to take over her life? Hell, steal her life from her? That's not the solution. That's not going to help matters. All you're doing by doing that is sending her into a deep depression. Trying to force your own goals, your own ideals, your own safety on your daughter is not going to actually help in anything. It's just going to cause different problems. It's okay to be worried. It's okay to be scared. It's clear he loves Maki. Like I would never say he doesn't love her. He very clearly loves her. The problem is, I feel like he's the kind of person who just isn't told no enough. You know what I mean? Too many people just let him have what he wants. They just give in to him. And he's not told no enough. He's not told that he's wrong enough. And because of that, he just acts on his first instinct because he automatically thinks it must be right. Nobody tells him otherwise. And I joke about things like I'd say something like, "Oh, if this was Tamaki, I wouldn't have batted an eye and everything." I joke about that, but the thing is, I probably wouldn't have liked it then either, because whether this was happening with Tamaki or anyone else in the eighth, it's like the issue is still there. The issue is still on how the characters, mind you, are handling it. It's like no matter who it is, it's like the issue isn't specifically that it's Maki. The issue is how she's being treated. But yeah. So this long ass rant just basically boils down to I understand what is being done here. I understand that it's gonna get rectified. It's just very annoying. I have this feeling like during this excursion, this mission coming up, Maki's going to end up having to go down there and end up saving them. I have a feeling that that's probably where that's going to go. She'll probably realize that they're in danger and that she's needed and everything because of how important she is to the core of the group. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I don't know how many episodes we're going to do today. We're just going to kind of wing it. But we probably should at least get started. So let's do so. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode or episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, yeah, I'm Connie, and I will see you at the reaction. And we're back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Sometimes watching this show is exhausting. Like, I want to make one thing clear here. I'm still enjoying this. I'm not like trying to like be just entirely negative here or anything. I want to make it clear to Matthew, who donated for this series in the first place, and anybody else watching this. Everything I'm saying here and all my complaints and all, it's not because I'm not enjoying this series or whatnot. It's just a lot. I can say I'm not enjoying Tamaki, but I never really enjoyed Tamaki, let's be honest. That's not really a surprise. Me hating on her, you could say, is kind of par for the course at this point. But it's like complaining and the confusion about everything else, like from how Juggernaut works to is he dead or not, to Giovanni Bug and everything else that was going on. The pro wrestler dude and complaining about Maki's family and everything. It's like, I mean, I could say I hate Maki's family. Like, listen, I talked about in the pre-thoughts, I understand that they're doing this out of love. I understand that they love her and they're worried for her and they're scared for her. But like I also said, like with the father and definitely also with the brother now, that's been made very clear. It's not just because they're trying to protect her, they're trying to give themselves peace of mind. There's this kind of almost creepy obsession that we see with the brother here. that's not quite on the level of Yuri from Spy Family, but is really not as far off as I would like it to be. Um, to where it's like he's so obsessed with her and obsessed with trying to control her. It's like she's not a kid, she's an adult. Both him and his father need to learn this. Maki is an adult woman. Not only can she take care of herself, but you need to give her the room, the autonomy to be able to do so. Trying to control her, trying to guide her life into something that's just going to make you more satisfied and more safe feeling it doesn't help her. Like I said in the pre-thoughts, a lot of this comes down to I've seen this kind of shit in real life. It's like it's just this is something that really bothers me. I hate it when family, parents especially, but just in general, family tries to control uh, members of their family for the sake of, having that control and tries to tell them what they can or can't do or shouldn't do. And especially when they treat them like they're this delicate flower that can't do anything. It's like Maki is so strong. And even Hinawa is very clearly getting like irritated by this shit. Not just because Maki's brother here, I don't remember his name. Not just because he keeps getting Hinawa's rank wrong, but he's very clearly getting annoyed by him, by his obsessive need to discuss his sister. Like Hinawa as a character doesn't show like a huge range of emotion. That's just the kind of character he is. But you can also like weirdly enough tell kind of what he's thinking. And you could very much see here how irritated and annoyed and just almost to the point of anger that he was with Maki's brother. He was very upset there. And you could tell. You could tell, even though he's like not showing this great range of emotion. It's surprisingly really good character design in that regard, that even though he is so stoic looking, you're able to see it. So I got to give credit for that. Um, the white clad designs in this, it's like are getting pretty wild. I mean, they've always been pretty wild, but these episodes had very notably wild designs. You get this woman with the whip, the Medusa whip, and it's like she's got a very almost dominatrix look to her, which the whip does not help with at all. And then you got the guy who's basically just a fucking pro wrestler with a massive bulge, and it's like, listen, dude, we're here to see you go down, not to think about how big your dick is. But by God, his dick is huge. Like, that bulge was massive. I think his bulge alone was bigger than Hinawa's head. Stop. Stop. Just stop. And moving on. Moving on. Um, where was I? Oh, yeah. A couple of the others we saw were kind of normal. The one that the two that the captains fought and defeated rather easily. They were more or less normal. There wasn't too much to their designs, but it's like clearly the creator of this is having fun with these designs. And I understand wanting to make them stand out, wanting to make these characters feel special, but still. Um, Quite wild designs. Um, Tamaki had a notable role to play here, but she was entirely useless. Like, people make jokes about characters in different anime being useless, and sometimes they take it way too seriously. One of the biggest examples I can give is Sakura from Naruto. There's a huge part of Naruto fan base, and even people who aren't necessarily big fans of Naruto, who note and like to say that Sakura is useless, at least pre time skip. That she's not really useful for anything, that she's a waste of space, that she's not talented, and which, by the way, is bullshit. I'm not going to get into that entire argument here, but that's bullshit. Um, but I also hear it with like Jujutsu Kaisen and everything, with various characters in that. Um, but Tamaki like is actually useless. Like, even when she tries her hardest to fight and keep keep going, keep standing, she can't do shit. She is so actively weak. She can't do shit. She has this kind of insane fire resistance, which I don't know, might have been brought up before, but if it was, I don't really remember. Granted, it's Tamaki, so I'm not going to remember a lot, probably. Of course, there's also a lot with this series I probably forget anyway, just knowing me. um, she's useless in battle, absolutely useless. Her stupid ass fan service ability thing is the worst. She's not even likable as a character. It's like there's no redeeming qualities to her. And we only see Maki like once in these entire 2 episodes. Just her finding out what the rest of the company's doing. It's like, oh, did we just forget that this was supposed to be kind of focusing on her? I mean, they talk about her a lot, but we only actually see her once for like a few seconds. It's like that feels rude. That feels very rude. It's like, I assume the series is trying to make a point that like what her family is saying about her and everything is wrong, but then they go ahead and just not include her in this for a while. So it's like it's almost kind of validating that, and it's just like, oh my god. I know that's not intentional. I know it's just because of like, all this stuff is happening at the same time, but still. And again, like I said, like I was confused about in the reaction. How does Juggernaut work? Like, I can understand, like, okay, he's wearing a lot of layers. He's not really that big underneath and everything. Like, okay, you're missing him a lot. Okay, sure, sure, sure. But there's one part where she whips through, like, the collarbone all the way across. And it somehow doesn't affect him. No, I'm sorry. He would have been beheaded there. Like, I'm sorry. No, you can't use the excuse that he's really thin in there, that he's moving around. She basically cut through the entire collarbone all the way through, and it's just like, no, he could not have survived that. And then how does his outfit keep regenerating? You can't explain that away with just the fact that he's wearing many layers. That doesn't work. The outfit itself is regenerating. It's not that, oh, another layer is popping out from underneath the upper layer. No, that's not what's happening there. And Giovanni's a bug. That's happening too. Also, a lot of casual murder in this one. A lot of just characters being very casually just fucking murdered really horrifically. Dude just out of nowhere gets his head chopped off after, like, we make a point of, like, focusing on his character. It's like, oh, we introduced this character. He has a really neat ability. We're going to focus on this. All of a sudden, he dead. Okay. I understand what you're doing there. I get the idea behind that. Like, oh, we're going to introduce this character, make him seem important, and then show that he's just fodder. It's like, yeah, I get that. I understand what you're doing. He's not an important character. They were making a joke about how a lot of these shows, a lot of these manga, give these backstories and motivations. And they do that with a bunch of other characters, too. It's like, oh, we have to get ready for our wedding, or I'm looking forward to these shoes or something. And then they get killed too, and it's like, I get what they're doing. But what is the fucking tone supposed to be there? Because it comes across as funny. And I don't think it's supposed to be funny. It feels like it's supposed to be, like, tragic. But when you have this music going, and then you just cut it off for the little flashback scenes, and then it's just like the most, like, over the top shit, the most over the top backstories before you kill them. It's just like, this is satire. But the scene feels like it's trying to be serious about it, and it just makes it funny in a very weird way. To where it's like, I don't know what the tone of this is supposed to be. It feels off, and I don't know how else to put it than that. It just feels off, tonally. Ay, ay, ay. Like I said, sometimes watching these episodes just exhausts me. It's just so much to deal with. And on top of it, Giovanni's a bug. Ugh. Ugh. I'm thinking about the feelers that popped up. Ugh. Anyway, tell me what you thought of these episodes in the comments below. I'm Connie. I'm signing off. See y'all next time.